Welcome back to B4CRYPTO. Today we're joined with this very special guest, Crypto Bliss. How are you doing?
Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for having me here on your show today, B4CRYPTO.
Yes, it's a pleasure. I want you to, first of all, introduce yourself, and then we're going to get into some charts. But first and foremost, we're doing this collaboration so that our communities also get involved with other communities, because that is the main focus of crypto, so that we all unite and that we all learn from each other.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I got into crypto almost quite similar to what your story is. Some of my mates back in it must have been about 2012, 2013, we were all big jawlers. We used to party hard. And my two mates came to me and they said to me, well, let's get into some crypto mining. And this required purchasing mining rigs, computers, and I was like, guys, I'm not interested in that stuff. I mean, I knew nothing about it. But if I had known what I knew today about it, I would have undoubtedly stopped jawling, taken all of that money that I would have spent on that, and absolutely invested it at that point. You only know what you know when you know it, right? So a few years down the line comes, C19. We were towards the end of 2020, it was, and about 2020 to 2021, in the late December, early January, that's where I first invested in crypto. I bought some Bitcoin, and it was one of the most beautiful feelings that I experienced. How did I get into it? Well, because of the circumstances that I was experiencing in my life at that moment, I had moved out to a farm up in Limpopo, in 𝗥𝗲𝗍𝗁, and we had started working on a permaculture project, and it was going extraordinarily well. But unfortunately, the relationship with the landowner fell apart, and we left the farm. And during this process, I needed to find something that I could personally do for myself that would create abundance for myself and my family. And through everything that I'd learned and heard about since 2012 about crypto, because there was that long gap that I had, I followed this gentleman's journey. I don't know if you know 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗲𝗄𝐵TC,
Yeah, I heard of
but
him, yeah.
basically you have.
Yeah.
So Crypto Hustle is his channel.
Yeah.
And basically he started off, I mean, he was working in the middle of Johannesburg central town. Now, guys, if you're from I live in Johannesburg. I do not go into central Johannesburg anymore. It's just not that friendly of a place, okay? But anyway, so he used to do a lot of landscaping there, and he started he started investing into crypto, and then he got onto his channel, which he invested, I think, in 2017 was the first time he got in, and I followed his journey, and he was showing us the most incredible simplistic things about crypto, and it caught my attention, and I just could not get my hands and my eyes off of the computers and my cell phones. I was downloading Binance and all of these exchanges so that I could invest whatever capital, dry powder I had at that time into Bitcoin. Now, bearing in mind, this came at almost kind of halfway between the last season's bull run. So it was getting in right at the top. And that's, for the community out there, that's a typical way in retail investors invest, which I would not at all recommend that, because I have literally watched my investments go up with great happiness. I was like, yes, I did this right. But then the huge market crash came, and then all of my accounts went down, and I was like, oh, terrible, terrible. But I never let that defeat me, because I could see from watching other YouTubers like B4CRYPTO and Carl from the Moon and Da Vinci and all of these guys that were already in the space in the previous bull cycle, and how, a lot of people call them lucky. Well, they weren't lucky. They got in at a decent point, and they made their money through those points. So Carl from the Moon has a very similar story. Crypto, all of the guys come from a very similar space. So Crypto Hustle, he was basically hosting an event here with a local South African DJ, and that was the first time that I'd gone to a crypto event, and I loved it so much. There must have been maybe 70 people in the space, And I had incredible questions that I was asking him about it because I'd previously had the experience of, not of crypto, but of trading and investing in other assets and in Forex. So I already had quite a good background in trading. And when they were speaking about this, crypto trading is similar, but it's also not. There's this thing called spot trading in crypto. And that's what caught my attention, because buying spot means you have, and a lot of people don't like this terminology. I know 𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗀 and some of the big players in the space actually don't like using the terminology, but I like to see these crypto companies like Ethereum as one example, or Binance. They started off small. These are companies that are performing something specific for our economy. And by doing that, the assets that those crypto companies have are little micro-sized bites that we could chew off and invest into these companies without having to have minimum investment requirements and go through a whole bunch of rigmarole and multiple parties where they deduct fees. So I was like, okay, this crypto space is really looking amazing, because you have
the opportunity,
the craziest opportunity to you remove all of that and become your self-custodian to your own investments and your own assets. And that caught my attention. So I'd started the YouTube channel not knowing a thing about crypto, but because I had such a passion about it, I really wanted to express certain things that I was learning to fellow South Africans, especially, and share the knowledge that I was gaining through speaking to other fellow cryptopians, and what I'd been learning from some of the top players through their experiences as well. So I started Crypto Bliss, and I've never looked back. I've invested in a number of different projects. I do hold a decent amount of Bitcoin. I don't particularly, I like Ethereum, but because Ethereum's gas fees when I entered the space, I wasn't that liquid. I didn't have a lot of money to invest into the space. Ethereum was just not the right place for me to put my money in at that point. So I invested in Bitcoin. I invested in some of the higher risk assets, and I got scammed I got scammed 3 times, where I lost nearly 50% of my money through those scams. So I learned a lot, and I wanted to share this journey with more people across the world, because at that point, I think it was only 2.5 or 3% of the world's population that had gone into crypto. And I thought this was an opportunity to share this incredible value with other people, that they could take this opportunity too. So that has been a very, very good journey for me, and I've learned much more, and I have no doubt I've still got a whole lot more to learn. So that's why I'm here on the show with you today, B4CRYPTO.
Yeah, definitely. And also to have this experience, you went through a bear market where you like literally bought the top. And that is also what is like really important. Guys, you need to watch the channels that are here throughout the bear market, because there are a lot of channels, they come back when the bull market starts and they leave when the bear market is coming. And that is the most important timing at the moment, the bear market. And that is why we are here and giving this teaching from our experience that we had. And I would like you to share your narrative that you think is going to drive the next bull market, or what is going to be really important in the next bull market. Do you have any narrative that you are following in regards to altcoins?
Actually, yes, I do. So there are 2 narratives that I am heavily following, I will mention 3, but there's 2 that I absolutely love, and I believe will be part of the major reason for the crypto cycle that we're about to experience. I often say on my channel that I believe, and I wasn't around for 2013 cycle, but looking at technical analysis, it seems as though we could have a bull cycle that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in terms of returns that we may see. I'm comparing it to 2013 because with the ETFs about to be launched, the spot ETFs about to be launched, and the next halvening cycle that's coming up, I think those will be part of the narrative contributing to the way retail gets into the space. And retail, guys, is people like myself and like before crypto, where we knew nothing and we just bought some and we started coming into the space with small amounts. So my two narratives are undoubtedly, I believe what happened at the end of the bull cycle was gaming started to come in. All these play to earns, they started to come in, but because the crash happened and there was a lot of FUD and a lot of noise, it stifled that growth of that sector. Now, on my channel, I often speak about and I compare market cap values of the gaming sector on Microsoft, and I compare Gala as an example to Minecraft. And Minecraft actually reached a $1.2 trillion market cap at some point, which is massive. And if we look at things like Gala's not even anywhere near that kind of market cap. So for me, I think gaming is undoubtedly going to be one of the biggest spaces because it has this play to earn function. Play crypto games for a few hours, make some cash that pays for their expenses every month, and they can live well. So that is one of my favorites, and I definitely believe gaming will do well. And then, of course, I actually made on my video earlier that I did earlier on a post that I saw from 𝗦𝗲𝗍𝗲𝗍, where he said Bitcoin had a 147% return in comparison to the Nasdaq or big tech, where it only had an 18% return. Now, we've seen the AI narrative has fallen tremendously over the past little while, but that's retracement. It's healthy to retrace. We're looking for long-term opportunity. We're not doing short-term stuff. So what I saw there was definitely AI is one of the hugest components of the crypto narrative at the moment, and AI will help people do better in their businesses, run their lives more efficiently. Humans won't be doing the mundane work that they have to do. You can just type a few words into AI or things like ChatGPT and other AI tools, and I've personally used those tools on numerous occasions. And guys, I believe that AI will be one of the biggest spaces in this as a narrative in the crypto space. And how does AI plug into gaming and crypto? Well, AI can build certain games using certain tools and technology. If you go and look at Render as an example, Render is both the tech and the gaming infrastructure, but combining those two together is absolutely powerful for the crypto space.
Yeah, definitely. And I also saw your Render video. It was an awesome video. So guys, definitely go over to Crypto Bliss channel and check out this Render video, because I think also Render is a good coin. And a lot of people also see AI as a major interruption, that it takes away a lot of jobs. But I actually see it totally different, because it gives you the opportunity to build something where you didn't have the capability of doing. You can use AI to build a company or to program and to use certain aspects that you actually do not have the skill for. So you can use AI wisely, not to lose your job, but to give you even more opportunities for even more jobs. So definitely this is a great narrative. And what is your outlook on the future of Bitcoin? What do you think? Where does the price of Bitcoin go? Are we directly going towards the all-time high, or what do you expect before the halvening?
So may I share just one of my charts with you quickly? Okay, so if we come and have a look at this Bitcoin chart, personally, I believe that we've hit our first levels of resistance around this area here. It's not working. Around this area here and this area here. We are tapping on it we've tapped on it once, we were rejected nicely, tapped on it again, rejected nicely. We've broken out of this down sloping trend here. As you can see, every single time we broke out of the down sloping trends, we touched this up sloping trend, we literally made higher highs every single time. So for me, I personally think that we could hit this level, maybe retrace back to that line, make a new higher low before we actually get the volume to break out. This little pump here hasn't had good volume. So I think that will cause a little bit of a rejection at this level before we really get the pump out. Now, my personal level is, you can see that there's a lot more resistance here at this zone, but this is the peak that I'm looking at, because when we made a breakout up over here, this was the level that we retraced to. And this level here is about the 38,000, as we can see here. Oh, sorry, 48,000 level.
Yeah.
That is about my target for the end of the cycle. Sorry, for
end of the year.
halvening happens.
Yeah.
That is my target. I would say that we would reach around that level over there, because there is a lot. That is the next kind of high in the zone that we had from this downfall over here. Yes, there were levels in between, but for me, that's going to be short pit stops where there will be just healthy retracements. So I think my narrative will be about 47, 48K by that point. Now, obviously, there's a lot of resistance over here at this 38K level. So I think we may struggle over here depending on what happens with the ETF narrative, because obviously we're expecting that ETF narrative to happen by the 10th of January, as we know. So if we get that, there may be, from people like yourself and myself, that are expecting Bitcoin to continue its momentum up towards that side. Perhaps we continue to get into that position. But at that point, once the spot ETF is released, I have no doubt that there will be, and I've done plenty of videos about this on my channel, where the big boys, undoubtedly, when the boat leaves the harbor, they will bring the boat back so that they can buy back lower. So I think there'll be a heavy rejection there. We will probably end up coming back down to this 30, maybe 25K level once again over here at this support zone.
Yeah, definitely. That is also what I think. There will be a lot of manipulations, and the whales also trying to reaccumulate. If you would take a wild guess, which price target do you expect in the year 2025 at the end of the bull cycle? No financial advice. What do you think Bitcoin could reach?
So are we talking about at the end of the next bull cycle? So listening to Arthur Hayes, I mean, he speaks about 750 to a million, which is quite interesting. I thought my expectation of the peak at the next bull cycle would be anything between 285 and 300,000 per Bitcoin. But with what we've kind of spoken about, you know, there is the potential for it to really just break through that. And if we look at the Glassnode rainbow chart, it is also showing within that 500 to 600K region at the end of next cycle. And that's if we keep within the rainbow. But if we did something that's kind of going back towards 2013, it actually jumped out of the top of the rainbow and then pulled back right down to the bottom end of the rainbow through the bear cycle. For me, I want to be a little bit more humble and modest, and I want to say between 285 and 300K from my personal technical analysis.
Yeah, I definitely think that is a good guess, because I definitely think Bitcoin could reach the price targets of 1 million or even 750,000, but I don't think it's going to happen within the next cycle. I think, but maybe this cycle is going to be different and Bitcoin is going to carry on from here. And we're going to break all of the charts, all of the predictions because of mass adoption, because Bitcoin is reaching that tipping point. I think it's over 7%. If something goes over 7%, you're reaching this tipping point and it reaches mass adoption. Well, thank you for being on my show and sharing your knowledge about crypto. And guys, definitely go over to Crypto Bliss, because we're going to in future do even more content together. We're going to keep this collaboration, like, to really support each other in this crypto biz. So do you want to share any last words with us?
Absolutely, I would love to. So to the beautiful crypto community out there, make sure you're subscribing to B4CRYPTO. He's an incredible cryptopian in the space as well, and I'm looking forward to having more collaborations with him. Make sure if you're trading, to trade safe and continue to just dollar cost average into Bitcoin. That's forget everything else. Just dollar cost average into Bitcoin. If you want to know more about altcoins, then subscribe to the channels, because that's what we do. And we speak and go in depth on those. But Bitcoin, dollar cost average, hold it on a cold storage wallet, and just enjoy the journey ahead. It's a long-term hodl. It is a store of value.
Definitely. Smash up the like button and subscribe to both of our channel. And guys, please make sure to be for crypto. See you on the next one. Bye.
Take care.
Peace.